Good evening. We are live again. What a race. What a race. Welcome back to the second live stream in a row. I had to talk about it on another live stream tonight. Guys, welcome back. Join in the chat. Let's talk all about today's race. So many incredible things to talk about today. Absolutely. It didn't disappoint. There were so many awesome things that happened in the men's race, in the women's race, and just in the race overall. Records broken, Team GB athletes doing amazing, just mind-blowing. So welcome back, as I said, to another live stream. I am just going to get the chat open right now, see if anyone is around. If you are, please do drop your name in there. And let's talk about the race, if you watched it and what you thought. What did you think? Absolutely amazing. There we go. Happy days. Alan, good evening. What a day. I mean, it did not disappoint. So I got up, started watching it, and I was gripped. I was just gripped. I did not move. I did not get changed. I did not eat. I just woke up, went downstairs to that TV, sat there, and watched it. Absolutely incredible. What a race. Chris, good evening. Corey, wow. Guys, if you're watching, Corey ran it today. Corey, if you can spare us a few minutes to tell everyone about how you got on today, please do, mate. Drop something in the chat about how you found your London experience today. I want to talk a little bit about how the elites got on, but of course Corey ran it for the Forest Dean Athletics Club today, did amazingly. So tell us how it went, mate. That'd be awesome. So tonight I want to talk about a few things: the women's race, the men's race. As I said, I've got a few notes that I scribbled down whilst I was watching the race. I knew as soon as it started, I thought I'm grabbing a pen and paper. I want to talk about this. Some impressive, as I said, Team GB performances and performances from a lot of athletes. But most importantly, let's start with the women's race, I think, because in last night's prediction live stream, I made a bold statement where I said Katani or Chariot was going to be winner, and of course it was neither, was it? It was in fact, of course, Bridget Kosgei. And what a race she had. I mean, obviously Chariot went with her for a long time. Well, no, let's wind back. Those are the winners, but of course the pace started out slow for the women. The pace started out slow. Those pacemakers, who saw those three pacemakers bolt off into the distance? Those poor women. You've got to wonder what's going through their mind. As the commentator said at the time, think about this logically. They're being paid to run at a certain pace. So if they're being paid to run at a pace and they're being given a job, regardless of if the women are being able to keep up with them or not, is it, what should they do? Naturally, Paula Radcliffe on the commentary said they should drop back. That they should be being paced by the women. The lead people should be telling them what they want, like Kipchoge was talking to the pacemakers throughout, telling them what he wanted until they dropped off. But those three women just went, and there was just that one lady doing her job, and it wasn't until after Tower Bridge where they came back. And of course, what about that fast 400? What do we all think of that? That was a bit of interestingness chucked in the middle. And at what point in a marathon halfway through would you think, I'm going to surge for 400 meters? I want to stay alive at that point. Anyway, of course, we had an incredible performance by Diver. I think she was an Australian lady. She was leading the race for a long period of time. And as the commentator said, wow, like, when would she assume or think that she would be leading the race? And although she didn't win it, she still finished really strong and ran a really, really solid race. But of course, naturally, Chariot and I keep forgetting her name because I didn't predict her. Kosgei caught up, and that was a great battle until, of course, Kosgei pulled away at the end, and she looked strong. But of course, my heart goes out to those people at the finish line when they have to direct them to point them in the camera, because those athletes don't want a photo. They just want to cross the line and just collapse. And of course, they're not allowed. They have to have the photos taken. And she looked pretty tired out. But either way, what a race that was. Running Geek Girl, good evening. How are you? I hope you're well. I haven't heard from you in ages. Alan, my first marathon today. You wanted a sub 4 and you got 3:57. Incredible, mate. Well done. That's Alan. That's amazing. Well done. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Of course, talk. I want to get some chat going in the in the chat room about this marathon. So if you've got any questions, or what did you like, what didn't you like, what do you want to talk about tonight, just fire it in there. Let's talk about it. So of course that was the women's race, and of course a cracking performance by our British athlete Charlotte Purdue. She came in, I'm just looking at the results, she came in 10th place in a massive PB of 2:25:38, and she was my tip for the win last night. I said on the live stream tomorrow, best GB athlete, 100% it's going to be her. She had such a great build up, great training. If you follow her on Instagram, she was documenting some of her training out in Australia, came back for the big half, did amazing, solid performance at the big half, came out today and ran the race of her life. And I think it's testament to her. I know Molly Huddle didn't have the best of races today in the American jersey, but to come past Molly Huddle and sneak into that top 10 to get that Olympic qualifying position is just, that's got to blow your mind. At what point would you be thinking that that's ever going to happen to you? And she nailed it. She did so well. So just going down the results, of course, we had Kosgei breaking 2:20, but of course, as I alluded to last night, not getting close to that world record. Who is going to get close to it, and when's it going to happen for the women? 2:15. Vivian Cheriot coming through strong in the end at 2:20, and then of course the Ethiopian lady, I think you pronounce her name, Deriji, came through at 2:20 again, and then Chirono 2:20 and Mary Katani 2:20. The top 5 ladies all sub 2:21. Absolutely incredible performance from the ladies. And that was great. I like that. My only gripe, I think, for all of this was in the beginning, there wasn't enough coverage of the men and the women's race. I think there was a lot of, I think last year the elite men and women dominated the coverage, and everyone was kind of in uproar about not seeing lots of everybody else that's there. And this year I think they went the other way. I think when the elite men started, we didn't then see them for like 20 minutes before they decided, unless I left the room and didn't see them. And the women was a bit the same. It was very staggered, picking things up. You would love to have split screens going on, wouldn't you? I think that's something that will be able to improve things a lot. Onto the men's race. What a race that was. I mean, Kipchoge, of course, winning again, my prediction last night, but come on. Those boys hung in there until the end, and it wasn't until that amazing tactical move at mile 24 at the drink station, when he knew exactly what he was doing. He pulled over to the other side of the road, and he saw the other guys over the other side, and he put the hammer down and put that pace in there. But those guys, wow, let's just confirm. So Kipchoge and Jeremu, who came second, both negative split the race, both crossed the halfway in 1:01:37. Kipchoge then finishing in 2:02:37, so negative split it, and Jeremu coming in at 2:02:55. A world-class performance from him. A world-class performance. You've got to say, Kipchoge, as the commentator said, was out on his own last year at that point, and to have company for 24 miles, well, all the way really, because he didn't drop anyone really. That must have been interesting for him. I can't remember many times he's been in that position where he's had company right to the end. He always talks in interviews about how running is such a great team sport, and if it wasn't for the team around him, that he wouldn't be able to do what he was doing. And that must have felt probably quite good for him, probably quite good. And of course, when those pacemakers dropped, he was indicating to the people around him, just gesturing, come on boys, we can do this, let's push the pace. They stuck in there, they stuck with him. And what about Mo Farah? Let's go back to the chat, because there's a lot going on. Lee, now watching you live, yes, mate. I had to jump back on. What a race. I had to jump back on and talk about it. Absolutely incredible. I've wanted to start covering and talking about my opinions on these races a little bit more over the last few months. I thought London Marathon would be a great place to start, so I thought I'd do a pre and a post live chat. Buoyant Fire, Kipchoge's a beast. I mean, who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him? What an incredible runner. George, yeah, definitely. Alan, I mean, mate, you absolutely crushed it. So pleased for you. Everyone's congratulating Alan, which is amazing. You guys are awesome for congratulating Alan. It did incredible. What a great job. And yes, Alan, you do have a benchmark. No resting up now. Kipchoge was flying for the course, and you know, I watched Kipchoge, and you just didn't break a sweat. Just did not break a sweat. I'll tell you one thing that surprised me, and I said this last night. Kipsang. I said Kipsang has never got back to his old form. He's never kind of rekindled that world class form he's ever got. He's always been around the 205, 206, 207. And at halfway mark, when he was still in the pack or just before halfway, I was really, really surprised. So let's get the official results, because he then eventually came in 209. Let's confirm that. Where is he on this list? Yeah, Daniel Wanjuru finished ahead of him, and he fell off the back of Callum Hawkins and Mo Farah. Kipsang came in at 209. So yeah, came through the halfway mark at 101.38, Kipsang, and then finished in 209.18. I was gutted for him. I love him. He seems such a nice, smiley, cheery chap. I just want him to do so well and rekindle that form. And what I liked today is he went out with intent. I was gutted that he couldn't stick it, but it was what it was. Let's talk about Mo Farah. Before that, Corey, thanks, mate. So for those of you joining now, Corey is my club mate. He has just run London today. It was an amazing experience. Managed 304 today, was gunning for a 250, but Stitch got me in a bit fatigued after 20 miles. Stopped a couple of times due to cramp. Over the moon, though, and so you should be. So Corey was well on for 250. I was tracking him. I could see he fell off the pace a little bit at the end, but honestly, watching it on TV as well, and Corey, you'll be able to confirm this for us. It'd be great if you could. There looked to be some little lumps and bumps in that second half, coming out from under the underpasses, some short, sharp hills, which at the end of a race is going to take it out of you. It really is. If you could let me know, that would be super. I mean, what a result. Let's just bear in mind, guys, that Corey qualified for London last year. He's a bloody good runner. How does Kipchoge do it? Well, Ugali, apparently. These guys suffer no lactic acid, hit the wall, or seem to suffer pain. I think Kipchoge is a man of integrity, and he's a man to aspire to be like his humble nature, his lifestyle, everything is so simplistic. But of course, what you've got to remember, guys, is these people live to run. Like, they wake up and running is it. That is all they focus on. Saw a quote today, something like after the end of the race, someone said, "Oh, what's your goal now? Have you got something in the back of your mind? What's next?" And he said something along the lines of, "I'm an African. We don't chase two rabbits. We chase one rabbit at a time," which is a great analogy for saying we have one goal, we set it, we move on to the next. In another interview, he then said that he's hoping to be at the Olympics next year, which I think is brilliant for the Olympics. To have someone of his caliber running there over in Tokyo, that'll be super. It's just, you wake up, you run. He's got an incredible team around him. He's talented, genetically gifted, lives the lifestyle and loves what he does. And I think that's key. He loves what he does. I think what puzzles me is he just doesn't sweat. You never see a bead of sweat on his forehead, and he never looks uncomfortable. It blows my mind. Alan, the London Marathon atmosphere was electric all the way through, plus the weather was perfect for running. Matt, I'm so happy. I gather it was a bit windy today, but compared to last year, I'm so pleased for you, mate. Well done. Let's talk about Mo Farah. Let's talk about his performance. He's come out and said that he was a bit disappointed. I can understand why. It wasn't a PB for him. It was blooming close. Let's just get a bit of perspective on why I think he is overthinking what happened. I actually think he did quite well. My prediction was 204. He didn't quite get it. Again, admirable. Last night I said, in my pre-race thoughts, I said Mo Farah will either go hard or go home. And if he goes hard, he will combust. He will just go, he'll blow up. And the reason I thought that was because if he went with Kipchoge, he would blow up. He needed to run his own race and sensible. And I was so pleased to see him at the back of the pack doing his own thing. So I knew from the start he was going to have a good day. Now, I know he didn't run his best, and he's saying he blew up at mile 20 and just had to hang in there. Yes, he looked tired. But look at Kipchoge. Look over his last marathons. They put some statistics on the screen today. His average is 204 over his last sort of 8, 9, 10 marathons, or whatever it was. And he's always running around 201, but on the whole, sort of 202, 203, up to 205. And in that bracket, Mo Farah has now been consistent in his last 3 marathons in the 2:05 range. Well, no, was it London was last year was 2:06 or something, whatever. But Chicago in this one 2:05. He can't look at that and say that's a bad performance. I know he will, and I know an athlete of his caliber will look at it and strive for perfection and strive for that next level. But when it comes to marathons, it's all about building up experience. Like, I'm not an experienced marathoner. I need to do 10, 20, 30 of these things to start to think to myself, okay, I know what I'm doing. You know, the marathon can throw you a curveball at any time. I think you just got to look at it and go, actually, mate, you didn't do that bad. I don't think he did. I know he's going to be critical, but I don't think he did. What do you guys think? David Jameson, how did you do, mate? So David also ran London today. How did you do? Tell me. How did you do? London does have some inclines that are enough to knock you off your stride. Westerly win wasn't ideal over the last 2 miles. Yeah, I gathered. I could see in the pictures some of the vests blowing and the flags blowing in a certain direction did not look good. Joe, good evening, mate. I hope you're well. Do you think... Lee, no, do you know what? I don't, because sort of the natural progression of marathon runners is they start on the track and they migrate over to the marathon. And a lot of people, when they get older, when they start to lose their speed, and I don't think Mo ever lost his speed, in my opinion. I think he was top notch until the end of his track career. But I think you've got to look at it and go, he took a step maybe too early to go to the marathon, but then, you know, he is 30, what is he, 32, 33? Now, marathoners, if they look after themselves, can go on for a long time, obviously. What was that lady's name again? Diver proved that today, over 40 years old, producing an incredible performance in the ladies category there. But I think, I think he needs to keep grounded. I think he's got to stop talking about him versus Kipchoge, because there's so many people in front of him. I know today in today's race there was 3 people in between him and Kipchoge, but in the grand scheme of things, there's more than that, because obviously there's, what was it, the Dubai Marathon this year produced, was it 5 or 6 athletes sub 2:05 or 2:04, something crazy. Now, if they can do that in that heat, in those conditions, then Mo's got to be looking at that and going, that's where I need to be. I need to start producing consistency. I need to start producing sort of regular, decent performances, and then gradually chip away at that time. I think he can do it. I do think he can do it. I don't think he's past his best by the, by any stretch of the imagination. I just think he needs to. I think the media need to stop hyping up this whole Kipchoge versus Farah thing, because it's just not true. Today proved it. I have to put my hands up and say I put him second place. Last night I said it's going to be Kipchoge, then Farah, and someone else, because I believed the hype and I believed what Mo was saying. And I think today just proved. It just put him back in his place a little bit. We all as runners can get ahead of ourselves. We have a great training. We start to believe and think what we can do, and a race can just throw us a curveball. Something can happen. We can have a bad performance, and suddenly the media is all over him like a rash. How did it go? Why did you run? Why did you not do as well as you thought you would do? Blah blah blah. And it's just, he needs to go away, have some family time, get back to it, run another marathon in the autumn, fall for the Americans out there, and see what he can do and get another 2:05. I think he's just got to shoot 2:04. That is it. He's got to shoot for 2:04 and see what he can do, because today he was on for 2:03. But I think if he was shooting for 2:04 and he would come through the halfway mark in 1:02, he'd have done a bit better. David, I agree. The mile 18 incline doesn't come at a good time. Mate, 3:13:14. That's brilliant. Well done. Because I know you were ill leading up to it as well a couple of weeks back. So, mate, that's fantastic. Diver did go too early. But Diver held strong even when she was passed. Let's check the splits. Where is it? She came 7th. She split 1:11 for the half and 2:24. So she did positive split it, but it wasn't a massive positive split. It was a positive split by 2 minutes. She did go too early. I agree with you, 100%. But hey, in that situation, she obviously felt good, and it didn't affect her race too much. Yes, she might, if she hadn't have gone too fast too soon, she might have been able to save another minute or so. But on the whole, getting a sub 2:25 is admirable, absolutely admirable. So I agree. Yes, she did go a bit quick, but it didn't seem to affect her. Joe found it interesting that second place didn't get much attention. All I wanted to talk about was Farah and Kipchoge. He ran the third five. Exactly. I mean, what was the stat they gave out? They gave out James. I'll talk about that in a second. Hold on, James, you've thrown me. The top three men set world records for their places, or they set records. So the second place was the second fastest marathon of all time, or something, or third fastest, and then third place again was something stupidly quick. James has put, who is this idiot? What he's referring to is my London Marathon live stream last night did quite well with views for some reason. It seemed to get caught up in some algorithm. I got quite a few views on it, and I got some nice comments from people. I just see if I can find them. Don't know if you can see those. There was actually a ruder one than that that had a lot of swearing in it, but for some, and I replied. I didn't delete it because I reply to all these things. I don't care. But someone's deleted it. YouTube's deleted it. Yeah, it's all right. I'm just watching it back. You can see it. So yes, James, don't throw me off. David, yeah, obviously, David, amazing. Jeffrey, you've been listening since the beginning. I've just seen your videos popped up for the Two Oceans Ultra, so I will watch that shortly. So anyway, guys, what do we think? What do we think? How has it been today? I mean, what are your thoughts? How did it go? I think, as I predicted last night, the team. Let's talk about Team GB. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Team GB performances, absolutely incredible. Callum Hawkins coming back from that nasty fall over in the Gold Coast and the Commonwealth Games. 2:07, sneaking into the top 10 places. 2:08.14. What a performance. A slight positive split came through at 1:03.21. But wow, how about that? Another PB for Josh Griffiths. He came in 16th place at, where was it? Sorry, no, that's Dewey Griffiths, or Dowie Griffiths, I should say, sorry. Joshua Griffiths came in at 2:14.25, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, Dewey Griffiths, or Dowie Griffiths, I should say, sorry, not getting a PB, but still coming in at 2:11. 2:11, where's it gone? 2:11.46. He faded a little bit. He was sticking with Callum Hawkins, but Callum really had the bit between his teeth today. You could see he worked hard, he ran smart, he ran strong, and at the end, he fully deserved that. And you look at his half marathon performances, being a 60 flat half marathon runner, go, we knew you could run better than 2:10, and today, this is exactly what Mo needs to do. He needs to look at that and go, right, Callum has taken 2 minutes off his PB. 2 minutes, gone from a 2:10 to a 2:08. Mo needs to go, that's what I need to do. 30 seconds at his level, 20, 30 seconds chipping away at a time so that he can get used to that and get used to it. The more he can run, obviously for optimum performance and things like that, they only run, the elites only run sort of 2 marathons a year, maybe 3 at a push. But that's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to focus on. So massive congratulations to Callum representing Team GB there. As I said, Dowie Griffiths, amazing run. Johnny Mellor, again, coming in just over the 2:13 qualifying time, but an incredible performance by him as well, or another GB athlete, 2:13.25. So guys, just some incredible performance there. And of course, not forgetting the ladies, Team GB. As I mentioned, just looking at the results here, we had, where's she gone on the list? Charlotte Purdue smashing it today. Tish Jones coming in at 2:31. Hayley Carruthers, what a finish. Who saw that one? Bless her heart. That is what the marathon can do to you. She got to that line, she collapsed, she crawled over it. That was her debut in the marathon as well. I mean, wow, what can you say about that? Just brilliant. Callum Hawkey, he did, mate. You must be proud to be a Scot with him in your team, because fair play. Oh, mate, Lee, did you? Bless you. Thank you. Was it you? I knew someone had deleted it. Honestly, do you know what? On social media, if you're prepared to be big enough and ugly enough to put yourself out there, you've got to take these sorts of things. There are people out there that don't like what you do. That's fine. I appreciate it, though, mate. Thank you so much. I'd like to know how many of them were wearing those 4% night shoes. Interestingly, the interviewer at the end for Let'sRun.com asked or said to Charlotte Purdue, how did they feel? How did they feel? Because she put an Instagram post out about saying how she had these shoes, the Vaporfly Next Percent, and she said, I didn't run in them. I ran in the 4% because she only got them last week and she didn't feel that she had long enough in them to be comfortable. So she wore the 4%. The top three men were all wearing them. Of course, Farah was wearing them. I don't know about fourth place. Who was that? Tola. No idea if he was. Sorry, not Tola Katata. No idea if he was wearing them. But I know the majority of them. You could see in those groups their feet were either green or orange. It was one of the two, wasn't it? So it was either the 4% or I was interested to see what Kipchoge was wearing, because obviously he's an Adidas athlete and his shoes looked orange, so I've got no idea what they were. If anyone knows, let me know. And then the women's, again, full of green shoes, orange shoes. So yeah, Nike definitely laying down. You see all these YouTubers reviewing shoes, and I love watching them. I love to see what companies come out with technology, but you don't see anyone with the carbon rockets, the Hoka carbon rockets, do you? You don't see anyone with the Asics Gel Meta rides. It's all about the Nike and the Adidas. It's all about the Nike in terms of racing. Last on Earth, what do you think about Turkey? Are we talking about the turkey that you eat, or are we talking about the turkey that you can go to on holiday? Because the place, Turkey, is beautiful and incredible, and I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat turkey. I think that's a shame that Kipchoge isn't. Yeah, I know. He's such a nice chap. He seems. Yeah, exactly. He's just a smiley, happy person. And as I said last night in the live stream, guys, if you head over to a YouTube channel called Vegan Bro Science, his videos are popping up on my channel. He's been recording all of the elite athletes running around St James's Park or Hyde Park, wherever it is in London, filming them, talking to them. Kipchoge was having a blast. He let him borrow his bike. Kipchoge went for a ride on his bike. He was having a bit of banter with him. He just seems like such a nice chap. And the Ethiopians and the Kenyans, the Africans in general, they teach us all Westerners a lesson, how relaxed they are, how chilled out they are. Just take it in their stride, guys. Whatever, what will be, will be. I think we all stress too much. I know I do. We need to take a leaf out of their book. So, yeah, guys, any other points you want to make from the marathon today? Obviously, perfect conditions, bit windy in the second half. James, my friend, obviously watching Forest Trail Runner, he's run the race. He's run London a couple of years ago as well. He can testify that the second half does have a few slight short inclines in there, so it is a little bit tougher. From a club perspective, just want to shout out to the Forestian Athletic Club. Some incredible performances today. Lee went sub-3 again. I don't know, that man is not human. Ran Manchester in 2:53, ran London in 2:58 today. Obviously, Corey did amazing. We had some incredible athletes out there doing their best, and it just looked like such a great day. Lee, I'd like to try Nike, but they're so expensive. I wear Hoka. Yeah, exactly, mate. I broke the bank for my Zoom flies and I got them on discount for 70 quid. I could not pay, unless someone wants to send me some shoes, I could not afford to pay the £250 that these Nike Vaporfly Next Percents are coming out at. I mean, the 4% is 200 something pounds still. Who's got, well, no, that's not fair to say. Lots of people have the money. I don't have the money. I got kids, I got mouths to feed. Exactly, mate. They're well over £200. So, bet they dominate the marathon. So, guys, what do we think? Any other questions we have on today? I just wanted to do this live stream to talk about it. It was such an action-packed morning. What do we think about the Fast 400? What do we think about that? Did any of you guys that were running it today that watched it, did you speed up for that? I know you've got the elites going through it, but It baffles me. At what point would I think I'm going to search for 400 meters at my halfway in the marathon? I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'd be worried that I would pay the price for it later. Um, and also a massive shout out to James Eckloff, who was on the live stream last night. He was running London. He smashed it today. 2:48. What a legend. Um, I think you need to tune into your inner Kipchoge for Newport. Kipchoge doesn't sweat, and I sweat a lot and very salty sweat, so I don't think I could do that. Plus, I'm 6'6" and he's about 5 foot nothing, and he probably weighs about 50 kilograms, and I weigh about nearly 90. Other than that, yeah, I'll do my best. Running Kiko, wow, yeah, exactly. So, guys, just what a fantastic race. Another cracker to add to the list. The marathon majors never disappoint with the caliber of athletes that are out there running. Just today, when I'm going to say today went unexpected. It didn't go unexpected because I was confident in my predictions for the best GB female. Got that one right. Didn't get the elite lady right. She came second. The winner, obviously, Kipchoge, you'd be a fool not to bet on him. But I got Farah, second place, wrong. But I predicted last night a mass of GB, flying away, a mass of GB PBs, and we got them, bar Dowie Griffiths, I think. All the lads in the top 5 or 6 smashed their PBs, which was awesome to see. I also noticed how Kipchoge's form looked very efficient and didn't waver as far as... I think Farah's got interesting form, hasn't he? His stride length is monstrous. His stride length is like my stride length, yet I can pull off that stride length because my inside leg is 39 inches. I'm 6'6", whereas Farah has the stride length of someone like me, but is nowhere near as tall as me. So I think when you look at Kipchoge, his face, he goes into meditative state. He's like a Buddha. He just just zones out and just runs, and it is so metronomic. It's unreal, and I could watch it all day. He's incredible. And if you watch the other 2 or 3 people behind him as they started to drop off at mile 22, 23, their mouths were open, they were breathing hard, they were rocking from side to side. It was just completely, you could see that they were doing their best. Having said that, hats off to them, because those boys gave him a run for his money. And as the commentator said at the time, you imagine being that person that knocks Kipchoge off his podium. I mean, you've got to take your hats off to them for giving it a go. That Jeremu lad was incredible. I think if I try, I still got to make the finish. Exactly. So there we go, guys. Let's wrap it up there. Just as I said, and what an awesome day. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this live stream, please do give it that thumbs up. It really does help the channel to get a thumbs up on these videos. It's awesome. And thank you for tuning in. As I said, what a race. What a race. My cadence, mate, is around, when I'm racing, 160. 160. It's quite low. When I'm doing 400-meter repeats, I can get up to about 174, 175. But that's when I'm really thinking about it, and I've done my drills and everything. I tend to race 10Ks around 162, 164, and half marathons and marathons around 160. So yeah, it's quite low. It's quite low. Yeah, it's low, Jeffrey. And that's, as I said, that's naturally because I've got a stride length that is massive and my legs are so bloody long. Yeah, he's a natural fit. Exactly, George. He wakes up, he lives and breathes coffee, ugali, and running. And his team, I mean, you watch these videos of him in his sort of, let's say, natural habitat in his hometown, and it blows your mind. The focus, the drive, the determination. But you've got to remember, guys, that these people, these Africans that maybe don't have a lot, they look for a way out. They look for a way out of poverty. They look for a way out of their current life, and they fixate on something, and they will work a darn sight harder than us Western Europeans, because we've got a cushy life. You know, we can go and get a job, albeit on minimum wage. We can get housing, we can have kids, we can get more benefits, you name it. Whereas these guys just, they live to run. It's absolutely incredible, and he fully deserves all of his success. He seems like such a lovely chap. Thank you, Lee. Much appreciated. Guys, let's wrap it there. You have been incredible. Thank you so much for tuning in for another night, back-to-back live streams. I've really appreciated and enjoyed your support covering the London Marathon this year. It's been brilliant to watch. It was great to be up there on Thursday and Friday and experience the atmosphere and just be in there with all the other runners. I mean, that was Thursday and Friday, let alone Saturday and Sunday. I can't imagine what the atmosphere will be like up there today. But next year, Running Geek Girl, well done to everyone that ran. Exactly. Well done. David, you're a legend. Well done for running today, mate. You did amazingly. All of you that ran the London Marathon did incredible today. Guys, let's sign off here. You've been brilliant. If you enjoy, as I said, please do smash that like button, share with your friends. And if you're new here and tuning in, please do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly running content. And I will see you later in the week, because this is my taper week now for my marathon coming up this Sunday in a house full of sick children. Am I going to survive? Who knows? I'll see you next time.